It's our pleasure today to be joined by Peter Abajian, Executive Director for the Pados Foundation, who is here in Armenia this week and for the month, introducing 100 for 100, which is a project basically meant to generate money and funding, and the 100 is in recognition of 100 years since the Armenian genocide. With that introduction, thank you for being here, and fill us in on what some of the other details are of 100 for 100.
As the worldwide community is beginning to think about what to do and how to commemorate appropriately the 100th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, we wanted to put our mark on the table and encourage people to adopt projects that are in desperate need of sponsorship in Armenia through the Pados Foundation and have us implement them with all of the donor feedback, the photos, the videos, and the hands-on implementation that the staff and our volunteers can offer.
It's 100 projects.
It's 100 projects to be implemented between now and April 24th, 2015, and to be culminated with a donor trip where we bring all the participants, or as many of them that want to participate, to Armenia so they can actually see what has happened with their funds.
I believe you're at the forefront of considering what to do for 2015 rather. It is 3 years later. Why is this the right project for this?
We thought long and hard about the best use of our resources and the best use of the talent we have on our staff on how to implement a project that would be meaningful. Every year our community gathers and appropriately remembers what we lost. And we thought this effort could be focused on what remains. It's up for grabs. Is it the right thing to do to renovate a school roof, for instance, or to help put computers in classrooms for children to commemorate this? But we thought, there's a lot of organizations that do a lot of good in the diaspora, and ours works very well in Armenia. We have 6 projects we've worked with regularly for the last 5 years, and that experience tells us that we will be able to adopt these 100 projects, pre-vet them, connect them with sponsors, and then properly implement and report back. So yes, to answer your question, I do think this is a appropriate venue.
But in 5 years, you've worked with 6 projects, and now you're going to work with 100 projects. Some of those projects, I believe, are rather infant NGOs. Not all, but some are rather new in their starting. How do I know if I give $100, or if I give $50, if I give $1,000, that not only will my money actually be used correctly, but that you'll monitor that it's used correctly?
Exactly. That's what we're telling donors that we will do.
Is it realistic?
I think it is. And I've had a 20-year existence with the Armenian community in the U.S. The chairman of our foundation and his family have had a very, very long time relationship with the Armenian community. And we're essentially betting our relationships on the fact that we can properly pre-screen these organizations. We can properly help them construct their project. A lot of times an NGO might have a great idea, but ask for the wrong kind of support, and we can help them devise the correct method, and then we implement it with them as a partner, and then we report afterwards and do spot checks and all the proper safeguards to make sure that those funds get spent correctly. I'll give you one great example.
Okay.
One of the local organizations we met with was hesitant about asking for funding for a TV and a DVD for English classes because they thought, well, I've asked somebody else for it, and what happens if you get the funds and then they get the funds? It's not the right thing to do to a donor. And I said, that's correct. If if your project gets funded, you tell us what the next thing is on your list, and if it's a project that meets our need, we'll shift finance. We'll shift the project financing to that.
So there's consistent, constant monitoring.
Absolutely. And I think that'll be the key to success.
In doing the 100 projects, is this an opportunity to introduce the diaspora to projects they would never know about?
Absolutely. It's very different when you're in New York or in LA working with the Armenian community there. They're organized. They're very interested in getting involved, but they don't have the mechanism, other than perhaps through friends that frequently come to Armenia, or their every couple of year trip to Armenia, where they can engage in a project like this and not just leave the money behind, or not just sign a power of attorney and say, here, you have power over this to do. Through the Paros Foundation, we can gather these smaller projects or these medium-sized projects, help develop the idea, help vet it, and then work with the donor and with the sponsor. And it may be the case that an organization wants to adopt a project, or a family wants to throw a fundraiser. Those kinds of things are possible as well. And then as we move forward with this, it'll present these smaller organizations a larger circle of potential sponsorship.
Peter Abajian, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Please let us know how it goes. It's a 3.5-year project.
3.5-year project.
More or less. And obviously for one of the worst parts of our history, but if something positive comes out of it, then that's a great thing. Thank you so much.
That's our hope. Thank you.